Hello and welcome to this video about Apper and FlowBase brought to you by FlowSession. My name is Eugene Jones, and in this video I'll show how Apper and FlowBase can help with greater adoption of Nintex automation and K2 Cloud. Nintex automation and K2 Cloud, collectively known as K2, is a powerful true automation platform with flexible capabilities and features, including a revolutionary data technology called Smart Objects. Building workflows in K2 follows a flow diagram approach, which is intuitive and fast. K2 also allows for cloning and reusing of assets as an easy way to accelerate development. I truly love K2 and enjoy every minute I get to work on the platform, but it does have some challenges. Specifically, the learning curve tends to be long and is often cited as being complex. Creating forms can be time-consuming. Between 40% and 60% of the project effort is typical. And there are no dashboards, management, or navigation for apps built in K2. Apper and FlowBase can help to overcome these challenges and organically grew the ROI of your K2 investment. Apper is an intuitive wizard that lets users define their form layout and their controls, then use authoring to create forms in minutes or hours, not days. Apper provides consistent results by using proven methodology and patterns that follows best practices for building apps in K2. And finally, Apper produces fully functional forms that are ready to be finalized using the K2 Designer. FlowBase is a framework to help develop, manage, secure, and navigate apps that were built on K2. A user portal lets users submit forms across apps, view and interact with the forms that they have submitted, and view and complete the tasks that were assigned to them. An admin portal allows app administrators to manage, configure, and secure their apps without IT. The framework also offers auditing, role-based security, reusable features, templates, and so much more. Here is a quick demo of building an app using Apper and FlowBase. First, we're going to create an app with Apper and register it with FlowBase. In Apper, we're going to start by specifying that our app will be integrated with FlowBase. We want to create a new app and we're going to give it a name. We're also going to give it a description and upload a logo for our app and specify that we want Apper to create a dashboard form for our new app. Finally, we're going to go and select the location of where the assets that are generated for this app should be deployed. Just to ensure that there's no smoke and mirrors, go over to K2 Designer and see that this folder is empty. Switching back to Apper, we can move on to the form information. Apper provides a library of form templates that can be used to generate apps. For this app, we're going to use submit and workflow task form, which means that this form can be used to submit new workflows and complete the workflow tasks. We're going to give the form a name and a description and tell it to use the same logo as this app. Click on Advanced Configuration and specify the stages for this form. These stages are presented as a progress bar on each one of the forms when it's open, and it's moved from one stage to the next as the workflow completes. Next, we're going to move over to views. Think of views as sections of information on your form. We're going to add our first view, and we're going to tell Apper to create the view for us with its corresponding smart object. Next, we're going to select a template for this view, which is an item view with 4 columns. We can provide the view with a name and a description and show advanced configuration. This is the primary view for our form, and we want the Apper to include these framework fields into our form. Hit next. We want the backend for this view to be SQL Server, which means that Apper will generate the tables in the database for us and then generate the smart objects for those tables. hit submit. Let's add one more view. Once again, create a view and the smart object. The template for this view is going to be list view with pop-up. Once again, I give the view a name and a description, and I specify the data source as SQL Server and submit. Next, we need to go and add the fields to each one of the two views with their corresponding controls that they should use. To speed up this process, I have created an Excel spreadsheet with two tabs, one for each one of the views, and on each one of the tabs I've added the name of the fields that I want to display, the control that I want to use, and whether it's required, and some other information. I'm going to import this Excel spreadsheet, and it creates all the fields for the views for me. All the information is pretty much complete. I can double click on any item to make changes or to view it. The only change that I need to make is on expenses. For the drop-down control, I'll need to provide additional information. So for expense type, we're going to create a new list in the FlowBase framework. We're going to call it expense type. We're going to provide it with the options that it needs to be provided in that list and the delimiter that is used. And that is it. That is all the information that is needed for the controls on the views. Next, we select the workflow that we want to connect to our form. Apper provides a library of workflow templates that can be used. For this app, we're going to use the 2-level approval with rework. Once again, we provide the workflow with a name and a description, and move next to the summary page. The summary page shows all the information about the app that we're about to generate. I'm going to hit submit and click on OK, and Apper will now proceed to generate the app and its artifacts for me. Okay, now that the app has been completed, we can click on OK, and Apper will navigate us to the dashboard for that new app. And here it is. Now if I switch back to K2 Designer and go to the demo folder, you can see that Apper created the subfolder for our new app and created all the artifacts for our app, including smart objects, views, and workflows and forms. Next, we're going to look at the user portal and its dashboards to show how users can interact with apps. Here is the home page of the FlowBase portal, and as you can see, I have two apps registered with FlowBase, one of them being the expense claim app that we built in a previous demo. When I click on an app, it will provide me with some analytics and a summary of all the forms that I've submitted for this app. Additionally, if an app has a dashboard form configured, a little play icon will be shown here in the top corner, and if I click on that, I'll be navigated to the dashboard form for this app. Switching over to My Submitted Forms. My Submitted Form shows all the forms that I've submitted across all of the apps in FlowBase, and it will provide some analytics here at the top. To submit a new form is very easy. I click on the new Submit New Form. I search for the form that I want to submit and click on OK. I'll be automatically routed to that form to fill it out. As you can see, here's the expense claim form that we built in the previous demo. So let's fill this out and submit it. I'm going to start off with the title, a priority. I'm giving it a due date. I'm going to search for myself, provide it with a total amount, and finally provide it with notes. Let's go add some expenses. First, we're going to add airfare, provide it with date, an amount, and upload a receipt. Okay, add one more. This time for hotel, date, amount, and upload the receipt. Okay, I've provided all the information for my form. Now I can go ahead and submit it. And after it was submitted successfully, it will provide me with a reference number for my new form. Click on OK. Now it will route me to the dashboard that was generated for this app. And on submitted forms, I can go and see the form that I will submit. Let's switch back to my submitted forms. There are other ways that I can interact with my forms after I've submitted it. I can open the view flow diagram, which is a real-time representation of the workflow that drives this form. I can cancel the form at any point in time, which is a nice feature because in vanilla K2, you can only interact with the workflow once if you have a task assigned to you. I can also go and create an ad hoc task related to my form. Let's say there's a problem, like integration is out or somebody is out of office. I can go and submit this form to get some help to move my form along. I can also change the priority. So let's go change this form priority to high and provide a justification that it's due tomorrow. Submit. Now if I change it, you can see that it's turned to red. There's other information available to the users. They can expand audit history, which will provide them with an audit list of all the events that transpired for this form. So giving them a really good view into what happened to this form. A more focused view is decision history. This will show all the decisions that were made for this form, together with the comment and the person and the date and time that the decision was made. Switching over to my work. You'll see that it has a similar look than my submitted forms. Here I can see all the tasks that's been assigned to me, and again with some analytics at the top. There's a number of ways I can interact with my tasks. I can reassign the task to someone else or delegate the task to a colleague. Both of these actions are audited and added to the audit history. And once again, I can open the view flow or create an ad hoc task. Down below here, again, is the audit history as well as the decision history for the form. To complete my task, I click on this little icon here, which will route me to the task form. As you can see, this form is now on the manager approval step. I have uploaded my itinerary over here. So now I can go ahead and complete this task. And I'll add a comment as well. Submit that, and that completes my task. Finally, we're going to look at the admin portal and how it allows administrators to manage their apps. Here is the app management portal where administrators can register new apps, edit the basic information about the existing app, disable an app, which will turn it to red. At this point, it's no longer available to end users. They can also re-enable the app, which will turn it back to green. They can export the configuration for this app to move it to a new environment, or they can import the configuration of another app from another environment into this one. Down below are all the aspects that an administrator can manage for this app. Starting with forms, administrators can change the name of the form and reference code. Settings are configuration values that are used by my app, things like approval limits or dynamic URLs or any other data values that are used for dynamic routing. Lists are used to populate list controls on forms. You can see here I have a leaf type list, and I can go and edit the options available for this list. Any changes made here is immediately reflected within the forms. Rich text is used to capture instructions or guidance that can be used in forms or in emails. Permissions are the permissions for your app, who can submit apps and who can access the administrative features for this app. Administration is used to show custom administration forms over and above what this app management provides. This app doesn't have an administration forms. We'll switch over to submitted forms, and in here the administrator can see all the forms that have been submitted across all users for this app. And once again, the administrator can interact with this form in a variety of ways. Roles shows all the K2 roles that is used by this app, whether it's for permissions or for task assignment. Synchronize also allows for the ability to synchronize roles between environments in an easy and fast fashion. Audit log will show all the changes that were made to the configuration of an app. It will also show the old value, the new value, and who made the change and when. And finally, security log will log all the instances where permissions were validated for a specific user. For example, when a user tries to log into a form, open a form, that permission will be validated and written into the security log. Here are some of the benefits that Apper and FlowBase provide. Grow the ROI of the K2 investment by promoting higher adoption of the platform and access to a broader business audience. The combination of tools are perfect for new K2 builders and citizen developers. The reason is that the patterns and methodologies were designed to simplify the learning curve for K2 and teach best practices through examples. It provides a single entry point for K2 for both users and administrators, where apps are easy to navigate yet fully secure. Internal tracking and business auditing data creates a treasure trove of analytics and reporting. User can generate forms for SQL, SharePoint, SmartBox, or any other line of business system. And finally, Apper provides the unique capability for creating forms using a UX-first approach. Simply design your form and Apper will create the underlying data storage components for you. Over to commercials. Apper and FlowBase are not sold as products, but are tools that will be gifted to customers that sign on for projects with a duration of 80 hours or more. Apper and FlowBase are provided as is, and their maintenance and support terms are as follows. Any defects discovered during the project will be remedied free of charge. After the project concludes, a complimentary maintenance period of 30 days will be provided. Any maintenance after this period may be charged. FlowCision provides free proof of concept demos to prospective customers. Note that these tools only work on Nintex Automation 5.8 and K2 Cloud. You can contact me for more information or for a demo using the details on your screen. Thank you for watching this video and I hope to hear from you soon.